In the quiet spaces between our thoughts, in the gentle rhythm of our breath, there exists a possibility, a choice that has echoed through human experience since the dawn of consciousness. It is the choice to forgive. To truly understand forgiveness, we must first venture into the landscape of the human heart, where hurt and healing reside side by side, where wounds linger like shadows and light waits patiently to be invited in. Forgiveness is not a single moment of clarity or a solitary act of will. It is a journey, a slow and often painful unfolding, a return to softness after the hardness of betrayal, a reacquaintance with peace after the turmoil of pain. It is, in its essence, the release of a story that has defined us, a story of hurt, of injustice, of disappointment, and the courageous decision to write a new one in its place. Why is forgiveness so difficult? Perhaps because it asks us to lay down arms we have long carried, to stand undefended in the face of memories that still sting, to soften where we have learned to harden. It requires us to confront not only the pain others have caused us, but also the judgments we have levied upon ourselves. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. It is not the condoning of harmful behavior, nor is it a denial of our suffering. It is not forgetting, nor is it necessarily reconciling with those who have wounded us. Rather, forgiveness is an internal shift, quiet, profound decision to cease allowing the past to dictate the quality of our present moment. It is the recognition that holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to suffer. Across cultures and centuries, forgiveness has been regarded as both a virtue and a necessity. In spiritual traditions, it is often described as a divine attribute, a reflection of grace that transcends human understanding. Psychological research has revealed its tangible benefits: reduced stress, improved mental health, and even enhanced physical well-being. Yet, despite knowing its value, we often resist it. We cling to our grievances as though they were treasures, fearing that to forgive is to betray ourselves or to minimize our pain. We worry that by letting go, we are admitting defeat or granting permission for further hurt. These fears are natural, born from a deep instinct to protect ourselves from harm. But forgiveness does not ask us to abandon self-protection or to ignore boundaries. It simply invites us to release the emotional weight that keeps us anchored in the past. Imagine carrying a heavy stone in your pocket, a stone etched with the memory of a wrong endured. At first, it feels like a reminder, a testament to your resilience. But over time, the weight becomes burdensome. It slows your steps, dims your joy, and narrows your world. Forgiveness is the moment you choose to set that stone down, not because the wrong no longer matters, but because you matter more. It is an act of self-compassion, a gift you give yourself. The difficulty of forgiveness often lies in its demand for vulnerability. To forgive, we must first acknowledge our pain fully. We must touch the tender places within us without flinching. This requires courage and kindness toward ourselves. We must be willing to see the humanity in those who have hurt us, to recognize that hurt people often hurt others, not from malice but from their own unhealed wounds. This does not excuse harmful behavior, but it allows us to view it through a wider lens, one that encompasses complexity and context. Forgiveness is also a process, not a destination. It unfolds in stages: resistance, reflection, release, and eventually, renewal. Some days, it may feel within reach. Other days, it may seem impossibly distant. This is natural. The path to forgiveness is rarely linear. It is a spiral, where we revisit the same pains from new perspectives, each time with a little more understanding, a little more grace. In the stillness of this moment, as you breathe in and out, know that forgiveness begins with a single intention: willingness to consider the possibility of release. You need not force it. You need only open the door slightly, allowing a sliver of light to enter the rooms of your heart that have long been dark. Trust that in time, with patience and compassion, the weight will lift, and you will find yourself standing lighter, freer, and more open to the peace that has always awaited you. So let us begin this journey together, with gentleness and without judgment. Let us explore what it means to forgive, why it challenges us, and how it ultimately sets us free. The road may be tender at times, but you need not walk it alone. Breathe deeply, and turn the page. From the earliest oral traditions to modern-day testimonies, stories of forgiveness have woven themselves into the fabric of human experience. These narratives, whether born in ancient temples, war-torn villages, or quiet family homes, reveal a universal truth. Forgiveness is not a solitary act, but a profound human journey. one that transcends time, culture, and circumstance. In the heart of ancient Greece, the philosopher Socrates spoke of forgiveness as a form of wisdom and understanding that holding anger ultimately harms the soul more than the offense itself. His student, Plato, later wove this idea into dialogues that explored justice, mercy, and the freedom that comes with emotional release. Meanwhile, in the East, Confucian teachings emphasized compassionate forgiveness as essential to social harmony and personal virtue. These philosophies recognize what modern science now confirms, that forgiveness is not weakness, but strength. Across the ocean, indigenous cultures carried their own wisdom. Among the Lakota people, the phrase mitaku oyas, in all are related, served as a reminder that forgiveness was rooted in interconnectedness. Wrongdoing was seen as a disruption of balance, and forgiveness as a restoration of that balance through understanding and ceremony. Similarly, Mbori elders in New Zealand practiced whakapapa forgiveness through realigning with one's ancestry and place in the world. In these traditions, forgiveness was not an individual transaction but a communal healing. The Christian tradition introduced one of history's most enduring symbols of forgiveness, the parable of the prodigal son. Here, forgiveness was framed as unconditional love, a father's embrace awaiting the return of his wayward child. No questions asked. Centuries later, figures like Martin Luther King Jr. would echo this in their calls to love one's enemies, not because they deserve it, but because hatred destroys the hater. Forgiveness, King said, is not an occasional act. It is a permanent attitude. Half a world away, Buddhist monks practiced metta loving-kindness meditation, directing compassion first to themselves, then to loved ones, strangers, and even those who had caused harm. In monasteries nestled among the Himalayas, monks taught that forgiveness was the ultimate release from the cycle of suffering. By letting go of resentment, one could achieve inner freedom, a theme echoed in Hindu teachings of Kashima, forgiveness as a divine quality. Then came the 20th century, with its wars and wounds that stretched across continents. In the aftermath of unspeakable violence, extraordinary stories emerged. Holocaust survivor Eva Kor forgave the Nazis who experimented on her in Auschwitz, not for their sake, but for her own liberation. Forgiveness, she said, is about self-healing. In South Africa, Nelson Mandela emerged from 27 years in prison, not with vengeance, but with a commitment to reconciliation. Through the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, he enabled a nation to confront its brutal past without collapsing into renewed violence. In Rwanda, where genocide tore communities apart, women like Immaculée Ilibagiza spoke of forgiving those who killed their families, not quickly, not easily, but inevitably, for the sake of being able to breathe again. Her words echoed across cultures. Forgiveness is the only way to truly move forward. These stories are not fairy tales. They are testaments to the human capacity to transform pain into meaning. They remind us that forgiveness is not about erasing the past, but about reframing its hold on us. It is a choice to break the chain of hurt, to say, "This ends with me." Modern psychology has given us language for what these traditions knew intuitively. Research shows that forgiveness reduces anxiety and depression, improves sleep, and even strengthens the immune system. It is, in a very real sense, medicine for the soul. Yet forgiveness remains deeply personal. There is no timeline, no right way. For some, it arrives in a sudden moment of grace. For others, it is a slow unfurling over years. Some find forgiveness through prayer, some through therapy, some through art or writing or silent reflection. What matters is not how we get there, but that we begin. As you reflect on these stories, drawn from philosophy, faith, history, and heart, remember that you, too, are part of this human tapestry. Your journey with forgiveness is unique, and yet you walk a path that countless others have traveled. You are not alone in the quiet of this moment. Consider one small step, a breath released, a judgment softened, a story retold with compassion. That is where forgiveness begins, not in grand gestures, but in gentle shifts. And with each shift, the heart grows lighter, freer, and more open to peace. May these stories inspire but not pressure you. May they remind you that forgiveness is possible, even when it feels impossible. And may you trust that, in your own time and in your own way, you too can find your path to release. Breathe deeply. Be kind to yourself. The journey continues. There is a stillness that lives on the other side of forgiveness, a quietude so profound that it feels less like an emotion and more like homecoming. This is inner peace, not the absence of turmoil, but the presence of a calm so deep that it can hold even the memory of pain without trembling. The journey to this peace begins with a single, courageous step, the choice to forgive. To understand the bond between forgiveness and inner peace, we must first recognize what happens when we do not forgive. Unforgiveness anchors us to the past. It replays old wounds like a film on loop, each scene tinged with anger, betrayal, or grief. This repetition is not passive. It lives in the body. Muscles tense, the heart races, the breath shallows. The mind, caught in the storm of resentment, cannot settle. Sleep becomes restless, days feel heavy, and joy seems just out of reach. We may not realize it, but we are at war with others, with the past, and ultimately, with ourselves. Forgiveness is the ceasefire in that war. It does not ask us to forget the battle or dismiss its scars. Rather, it invites us to lay down our weapons, the judgments, the blame, the need for revengeance, step onto new ground. This is where inner peace begins. In the release, neuroscience reveals the tangible shift that occurs when we forgive. Brain scans show that practicing forgiveness activates regions associated with empathy, decision-making, and emotional regulation. It lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, and increases heart rate variability, a marker of resilience. In essence, forgiveness rewires us for calm, but this is more than a biological process. It is a spiritual one. Across wisdom traditions, forgiveness is described as a return to wholeness. In Taoism, it is aligned with Wu, effortless action where we stop resisting what is and flow with life's currents. In Sufism, forgiveness opens the heart to sakna, divine tranquility. The Buddha taught that forgiveness is the key to liberation from suffering, saying, "Holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned." Inner peace is not found by avoiding pain, but by transforming our relationship to it. Forgiveness allows us to acknowledge hurt without being defined by it. It lets us honor our stories without being bound by them. We begin to see that the person who hurt us was also acting from their own pain, a realization that softens edges and widens perspective. This doesn't justify harmful behavior, but it does loosen its grip on our hearts. Consider the image of a pond after a storm. When the wind is fierce, the water is choppy, mud stirred from the depths. But when the wind stills, the sediment settles, and the water becomes clear enough to reflect the sky. Forgiveness is that stillness. It doesn't erase the storm, but it allows clarity to return. This inner peace is not a one-time achievement. It is a daily practice, a series of small choices to release grudges, to offer compassion, to return to the breath. Some days forgiveness feels natural. Other days it feels like a struggle. That is normal. What matters is the intention to begin again. You can cultivate this connection between forgiveness and peace in simple ways. Pause and breathe. When resentment arises, breathe into the heart. Imagine each exhale carrying away a layer of judgment. Reframe the narrative. Instead of "what was done to me," try "what I learned, how I grew, or how I can heal." Practice self-forgiveness. Often the person hardest to forgive is ourselves. Offer the same compassion you would give a friend. Remember, forgiveness is not a destination but a direction. Each act of letting go brings you closer to the peace that has always lived within you, waiting, patient and still, beneath the noise of past hurts. You deserve this peace. You are worthy of this release. As you rest tonight, imagine your heart as a wide, calm sky. Thoughts and memories may drift through like clouds, but the sky remains unchanged, silent and untroubled. That sky is your true nature. Forgiveness is the wind that clears the clouds away. Sleep gently, and may you dream of lightened burdens and open hands. Nighttime should be a sanctuary, gentle release from the cares of the day into the soft embrace of rest. Yet for many, the cloak of night brings not peace, but the echo of unresolved hurts. Unforgiveness, that quiet but persistent guest in the heart, follows us into the dark, shaping our sleep and coloring our dreams. To understand why, we must explore the intricate bond between the weight we carry and the rest we crave. Unforgiveness is more than an emotional state. It lives in the body. When we cling to resentment, anger, or pain, the nervous system remains on alert. It's as though a part of us is still braced for battle long after the war is over. Cortisol, the stress hormone, flows more freely. Heart rate may quicken, muscles may tense. The mind, unwilling or unable to let go, revisits old stories, rehearsing conversations or rewriting endings that never came to pass. This state of hypervigilant is the antithesis of what the body needs to slip into restorative sleep. Science confirms this. Studies have shown that individuals who struggle to forgive often experience poorer sleep quality, more frequent awakenings, and reduced time in deep sleep cycles. The mind, cluttered with unresolved emotion, finds it difficult to transition into the theta and delta waves that characterize restful slumber. Instead, sleep becomes shallower, tentative, truce between exhaustion and agitation. But the impact of unforgiveness extends beyond a single restless night. Over time, sleep deprivation amplifies emotional vulnerability. We become more reactive, less resilient, and more likely to interpret neutral events through a lens of past hurt. A cycle forms. Poor sleep heightens emotional distress, which in turn makes forgiveness feel more distant, which further disrupts sleep. It is a loop that leaves us weary in both body and spirit. Mental health, too, is intimately tied to this process. Unforgiveness has been linked to higher rates of anxiety, depression, and chronic stress. The mind, when burdened by resentment, has less capacity for joy, creativity, or connection. We may withdraw from others, convinced that we must protect ourselves from further hurt, not realizing that in doing so, we isolate ourselves from healing as well. Yet there is hope, and it begins with awareness. Recognizing that unforgiveness affects sleep is not meant to evoke guilt, but to inspire curiosity and compassion. Your body and mind are not working against you. They are asking for release. They are inviting you to lay down a burden that was never yours to carry forever. Forgiveness, especially when woven into nightly rituals, can serve as a balm. This does not mean forcing oneself to prematurely forgive profound hurts. Rather, it can begin with small intentions. A breath ritual. Before sleep, place a hand over the heart and breathe slowly. With each exhale, imagine releasing a small piece of what no longer serves you. Journaling, write down one thing you are ready to release, even if only for tonight. Guided meditation, visualize placing past hurts in a boat and watching it drift away under a moonlit sky. These practices are not magical cures, but they are steps, gentle, kind, and achievable. They signal to the nervous system that it is safe to rest, that it is safe to heal. Tonight, as you prepare to sleep, know that you are not alone in this. The same moon that shines through your window has witnessed countless others learning to soften, to release, to trust again. You too can begin this journey. Let your breath be slow, let your body be heavy, let your heart be gentle with itself. You deserve rest, not as a reward for forgiveness, but as your birthright. May tonight be a beginning. Close your eyes, release the day, and allow peace to find you in the quiet. We all carry invisible weights, emotions that settle in the bones, memories that echo in the quiet, stories we tell ourselves in the dark. These burdens, guilt, anger, regret, often live beneath the surface of our awareness, shaping how we move through the world, how we relate to others, and most importantly, how we relate to ourselves. To begin the journey of forgiveness, we must first gently uncover what we carry. Guilt is the weight of what we have done or what we believe we have done. It whispers that we should have known better, done better, been better. It lingers in the space between intention and action, convincing us that we are responsible for pain we may have caused, even long after amends were made or lessons were learned. Guilt is not always a negative force, can be a moral compass, guiding us toward growth, but when it becomes chronic, it corrodes self-worth and stifles joy. Anger is a fire that burns in the chest. It arises when we feel wronged, betrayed, or overlooked. In its raw form, anger is a protective energy, a signal that our boundaries have been crossed. But when left unexamined, it hardens into resentment. It replays past hurts like a broken record, feeding narratives of injustice and blame. Anger that is not acknowledged or released becomes a wall between us and the world, and eventually, between us and our own hearts. Regret lives in the land of what if. It dwells on choices not taken, words not spoken, paths not followed. Unlike guilt, which focuses on actions taken, regret mourns actions not taken. It wonders how life might have been different if we had been braver, wiser, or more present. Regret can be a teacher, showing us what truly matters, but when clung to, it becomes a ghost that haunts the present, preventing us from fully inhabiting the now. These burdens are not mere emotions, they live in the body. Guilt tightens the stomach, anger tenses the shoulders, regret aches in the heart. They influence our posture, our breathing, even our sleep. And though they may feel isolating, they are universal. Every person who has ever lived has carried them in some form. You are not alone in this. The first step toward release is non-judgmental awareness. Without criticizing yourself for feeling what you feel, simply notice: where does guilt live in your body? What does anger sound like in your mind? When does regret speak the loudest? Naming these burdens is not meant to amplify them, but to bring them into the light where they can be seen, heard, and ultimately understood. You need not carry them forever. In the stillness of this moment, take a gentle breath. Imagine placing your hand on the part of your body where one of these burdens resides. Offer it compassion, not condemnation. You are human. You have made mistakes. You have been hurt. You have wandered about roads not taken. This does not make you flawed. It makes you real. Forgiveness, whether of yourself or another, begins here, with the courage to acknowledge the weight without letting it define you. Tonight, as you rest, know that it is safe to set these burdens down, if only for a little while. You do not need them to be you. Breathe deeply, let the weight soften, and allow yourself to be lighter, even just for now. Sleep kindly. We often speak of emotions as if they exist only in the mind, transient, abstract, separate from the physical self, but emotions are not merely thoughts. They are experiences that resonate through the entire body. They settle in muscles, echo in bones, hum in blood, and whisper along nerves. To understand the weight we carry and, ultimately, how to release it, we must learn to listen to the language of the body. Emotions are energy in motion. When felt fully and expressed naturally, they flow through us like water, leaving little trace behind. But when suppressed, resisted, or unacknowledged, they become stored energy, a physical burden that shapes how we stand, move, breathe, and rest. Guilt often lives in the quarter pit of the stomach, the tightness in the diaphragm. It can feel like a cold, heavy stone, making itself known each time we try to expand fully into our own presence. It whispers that we are unworthy of ease, and our body responds by curling inward, protecting that tender, aching space. Anger frequently settles in the upper body, the clenched jaw, the tightened shoulders, the fists that want to form even when relaxed. It burns like heat behind the breastbone, a simmering readiness to defend or strike out. When anger is not acknowledged, the body remains braced for a battle that may never come, draining vitality and creating chronic tension. Regret often dwells in the heart center, not just the physical heart, but the emotional heart. It can feel like a hollow ache, a longing for what might have been. Sometimes it lives in the hands, a sense of opportunities slipped through fingers, or in the lower back, as if bowing under the weight of choices made or unmade. Even sadness, which we might associate with tears, has a broader physical presence, a weight in the chest, a thickness in the throat, a weariness in the limbs. It asks for rest, for comfort, for being held literally and metaphorically. These stored emotions are not imaginary. Research in fields like psychoneuroimmunology and somatic psychology confirms that unprocessed emotional experiences contribute to physical symptoms: reduced immune function, digestive issues, muscular pain, sleep disturbances, and more. The body keeps the score not to punish us, but to get our attention. It asks, gently at first, and then more persistently, for us to listen. So how do we begin to release these physical echoes of emotion? First, with kindness. The body has held these feelings for a reason: to protect you, to survive a moment that was too overwhelming to process at the time. Thank your body for its loyalty. Then, slowly, invite it to remember that it is safe now to let go. Simple practices can help. Body scanning. Lie down in a comfortable position. Slowly bring your attention to each part of your body, from your toes to the crown of your head. Notice areas of tension, warmth, numbness, or discomfort without judgment. Simply breathe into those spaces. Gentle movement, stretch, sway, shake, or dance, however your body wants to move. Let it express what words cannot. Breathwork. Practice deep, slow breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Imagine the breath flowing into tense areas, softening and soothing them. Touch. Place your hand gently over the part of your body where emotion is stored. Offer it warmth, compassion, and the silent message, I am here with you. You are not alone. This is not about erasing the past, but about freeing the body from having to carry it forever. Each time you acknowledge how an emotion lives within you, you take a step toward integration and release. You need not do this all at once. Small moments of attention matter. A single conscious breath, one gentle stretch, a hand over the heart. These are acts of forgiveness offered directly to the body. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, you might try this lie in your bed. Place one hand on your belly and one on your heart. Breathe slowly. If you notice tension, sadness, or weight anywhere, imagine your breath flowing to that place like a soft, golden light. You don't have to change anything. Just be present. Your body has been your faithful companion through every joy and sorrow. It deserves your kindness. It deserves rest. May you sleep deeply tonight, knowing that with each breath, you are lightening the load not through force, but through love. Close your eyes, let go, and trust that there is a moment in every journey of the heart when the weight we carry becomes too heavy to ignore, when the ache of holding on surpasses the fear of letting go. This is the moment when forgiveness begins, not as an abstract ideal, but as a physical, emotional, and spiritual necessity. It is the discovery that release is not a loss, but a homecoming to ourselves. We often believe that our guilt, our anger, our regret define us. We wrap ourselves in these stories like armor, thinking they protect us. In truth, they isolate us. They become walls between us and life, between us and love, between us and our own lightness of being. But freedom is possible. It lives in the space between one breath and the next, in the willingness to loosen our grip, even slightly. It is the courage to set down what was never ours to carry. What does it feel like to release? It begins as a subtle shift, softening in the belly, an ease in the shoulders, a breath that flows more freely. It is the quiet realization that you are still here, beneath the weight, intact and worthy. It is the unclenching of the heart. Release is not a one-time event. It is a practice, a series of small, brave choices. To forgive yourself for a mistake. To release a story you've told yourself for years. To choose compassion over criticism. To welcome the present moment, without the filter of the past. With each release, you reclaim a part of yourself. You remember that you are more than your pain, more than your history, more than your hardest moments. This freedom is not selfish. It is sacred. It allows you to show up more fully for your own life, and for others. It makes space for joy, for connection, for peace. You deserve this freedom. Release is not a one-time event. It is a practice, a series of small, brave choices. To forgive yourself for a mistake. To release a story you've told yourself for years. To choose compassion over criticism. To welcome the present moment without the filter of the past. With each release, you reclaim a part of yourself. You remember that you are more than your pain, more than your history, more than your hardest moments. This freedom is not selfish. It is sacred. It allows you to show up more fully for your own life, and for others. It makes space for joy, for connection, for peace. You deserve this freedom. Letting go is not an act of surrender, but an act of return, a homecoming to the unburdened self that has been waiting beneath the weight of what you carry. This unburdened self is not a distant version of you to be achieved, but a quiet presence already within you, breathing patiently beneath the layers of memory, emotion, and story. Before we can release, we must first prepare. Preparation is not about mustering willpower or forcing change. It is about creating an inner atmosphere of safety and compassion, a space where letting go feels not only possible, but natural. Begin by simply noticing what you carry, without judgment, without urgency. Imagine sitting beside yourself as a kind friend would, curious, gentle, offering silent companionship. Where does the weight live? In your body, in your mind, in the rhythms of your day. You may notice a familiar tightness in your chest when a certain memory surfaces, a habit of replaying conversations long past, a reluctance to relax fully, as if staying guarded has become second nature. These are not flaws. They are signs of a heart that has learned to protect itself. Honor that. Thank yourself for having found ways to survive, to endure, to continue. Then, gently ask, is it time to try something new? You need not answer immediately. Simply let the question linger like morning mist, soft, open, full of possibility. Creating readiness for release often looks like making space, through breath, through stillness, through moments of intentional quiet, offering compassion to yourself, to others, to the situations that caused pain, reclaiming choice. Remembering that you have the power to relate to your past in a new way. This is not about erasing what happened. It is about changing your relationship to it. You might visualize your burdens as objects you've been holding: a stone, a book, a locked box. Imagine setting them down beside you, even for a few moments. You are not abandoning them. You are simply resting your arms. See how it feels to sit without their weight. This is what freedom tastes like. It is okay if it feels unfamiliar. It is okay if doubt arises. This is not a race. This is a reacquaintance with your own lightness. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, you might offer yourself this gentle invitation. I am ready to release what no longer serves me. I am ready to welcome peace. You don't have to believe it fully. You only need to be willing to whisper it. Then, let yourself rest. Trust that healing does not require effort, only allowance. Allow sleep to soften the edges. Allow dreams to untangle the knots. Allow your body to remember how to be light. You are closer to release than you think. It begins with a breath, a sigh, a moment of grace. You are doing beautifully. Sleep well, and may tomorrow greet you with lighter hands and a quieter heart. To forgive others, we must first seek to understand, not to excuse, not to justify, but to see the humanity in those who have caused us pain. This does not mean dismissing our own suffering or invalidating our hurt. Rather, it is an expansion of willingness to consider that those who hurt us are often wounded themselves. Every person carries unseen battles. The neighbor who spoke harshly may be grieving a loss she never mentions. The friend who broke a promise may be struggling with fears he cannot name. The parent who was critical may have inherited patterns of perfectionism from generations past. This does not make their actions right, but it reminds us that hurt people often hurt people. Understanding is an act of courage. It asks us to look beyond the surface of actions and into the depths of motive and context. It is not about becoming a detective in someone else's life, but about freeing ourselves from the narrow story of villain and victim. When we understand, we reclaim our power, not by condoning what happened, but by refusing to let it define our capacity for compassion. This understanding can be cultivated through curiosity rather than judgment. We might gently ask, what pain might have shaped this person? What fears or limitations were they facing? How might their actions have been a reflection of their inner world rather than my worth? These questions are not for their sake, but for ours. They loosen the tight knot of resentment and make space for healing. They allow us to see that the person who hurt us is human, flawed, complex, and capable of change, just as we are. This does not mean we must reconcile or reopen doors that are best kept closed. It means we carry our story with less bitterness and more grace. It means we honor our pain without letting it harden into hatred. Understanding is a gift we give ourselves. Step toward inner peace tonight. As you rest, you might reflect on one person who has caused you pain. Imagine them not as a villain, but as a human being who has known struggle. Wish them peace, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve the freedom that comes with releasing resentment. Then, let it go. Breathe into the space that understanding creates, and sleep gently, knowing that compassion is a strength, not a weakness. You are healing. You are growing. You are becoming free. Empathy is the quiet bridge that connects separated hearts, not by erasing pain, but by allowing us to see through another's eyes without losing sight of our own truth. It is not about agreeing with those who hurt us, nor is it about dismissing our own feelings. Rather, empathy is a courageous choice to recognize the humanity in others, while still honoring the humanity in ourselves. When we practice empathy, we step into a space of deeper understanding. We begin to see that the person who caused us pain was likely acting from their own limitations, fears, or unresolved suffering. Perhaps they were repeating patterns they learned long ago, or maybe they were blinded by their own struggles. This does not excuse their behavior, but it helps loosen the grip of resentment that can tighten around our hearts. Empathy is a tool, not a demand. It is something we can cultivate gently, in our own time. We might start by reflecting, what might they have been feeling when they acted as they did? What burdens were they carrying? Have I ever acted in ways I later regretted when I was afraid or in pain? These questions are not meant to minimize our experience, but to expand our perspective. In doing so, we often find that empathy softens the edges of our anger and creates room for healing. It allows us to hold two truths at once. What they did was hurtful, and they are human, capable of error and growth, just like us. This softening does not happen overnight. It is a practice, one that requires patience and self-compassion. Some days, empathy will feel natural. Other days, it may feel distant. That is okay. What matters is the intention to understand, even when it is difficult. In extending empathy to others, we often discover that we are also extending it to ourselves. We remember that we, too, have moments we are not proud of, times when we acted from fear or misunderstanding. This realization can humbly reconnect us to our shared human experience, dissolving the illusion of separation that pain often creates. You don't have to force empathy. Simply invite it in, like sunlight through an open window. Let it warm the places in your heart that have grown cold from hurt. You may find that, in time, empathy becomes a natural response, one that sets you free from the weight of carrying anger alone. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, consider offering a silent wish for peace for yourself and for those who have caused you pain. You don't need to name them aloud. Simply hold them in your heart with gentle awareness. Then, release the thought and return to your breath. You are not condoning what happened. You are choosing your own peace. Rest well, knowing that every small act of empathy is a step toward healing for your heart and for the world. Sleep deeply, and may your dreams be light with the warmth of understanding. There is a profound power in giving voice to the emotions we carry, to release them from the hidden chambers of the heart and let them breathe in the light of acknowledgement. One of the most transformative practices in the journey of forgiveness is writing a letter to the person who hurt you, with no intention of ever sending it. This is not about communication with another. It is about honest, unfiltered dialogue with yourself. This letter is a sacred container for your truth. Here, you can say everything you needed to say but couldn't. You can express anger without fear of repercussion, sadness without judgment, and vulnerability without reservation. There is no need to hold back, to be polite, or to protect anyone's feelings. This is your space, raw, real, and entirely yours. Begin by finding a quiet moment and a place where you feel safe. Take a few deep breaths and let your hand move across the page without censorship. You might start with, "This is what you did. This is how it made me feel. This is what I wish you understood." You can revisit memories, express disappointments, or voice the questions that still linger. You can also acknowledge any complexities, moments of gratitude, glimpses of understanding, or even apologies for your own part, if that feels true. The goal is not to craft a perfect narrative, but to empty your heart onto the page. Once the words are written, you have choices. You might read the letter aloud to yourself, hearing your own pain and courage reflected back. You might choose to burn the letter, watching the paper turn to ash as a symbolic release of the emotions it carried. You might bury it, returning it to the earth with a prayer for peace. Or you might keep it in a drawer, knowing it is there if you need to return to it. This act is not about changing the past or the person who hurt you. It is about changing your relationship to the experience. By externalizing your emotions, you take them out of your body and mind and place them where you can see them, hold them, and ultimately, let them go. You may find that after writing, the weight feels lighter. The story loses its grip on you. You remember that you are not defined by what happened, but by how you choose to carry it or release it. Tonight, if you feel called, you might try this practice. You need not finish the letter in one sitting. Even a few sentences can be a beginning. Honor your rhythm. Honor your healing. Then, as you prepare for sleep, let your breath be easy. Know that you have taken a brave step toward your own peace. You have honored your truth. You have made space for new beginnings. Rest deeply, gentle soul. You are freeing yourself, one word at a time. Throughout human history, rituals have served as bridges between the inner world of emotion and the outer world of action. They give form to feelings that words alone cannot convey, and in doing so, they help us release what we are ready to let go. One such gentle yet powerful ritual is the burning of paper boats, a symbolic journey of releasing past hurts onto waters of transformation, watched over by the purifying element of fire. The practice: prepare your boat, fold a small paper boat. As you fold, infuse it with the emotion or memory you wish to release, whether it's anger, regret, or a story of hurt. Set your intention. Hold the boat in your hands and close your eyes. Breathe deeply and silently state your intention to release this burden. Release with fire. In a safe container, a ceramic bowl, a sink, or outdoors, light the boat and watch as it transforms into smoke and ash. Breathe and expand. As the smoke rises. Imagine it carrying away the weight you've released. Feel the space it leaves behind, lighter, clearer, and open to peace. This ritual is not about destroying the past, but about transmuting its energy. Fire has long been a symbol of purification and renewal across cultures, from Vedic Yan to Native American ceremonies. By combining it with water's symbolism, the paper boat, you honor both release fire and flow water. You may choose to speak words of release as the boat burns. I let go of what no longer serves me. I return this pain to the universe with love. I am free. Or you may simply observe in silence, trusting that the act itself holds meaning beyond language. Afterward, you might feel lighter, as if a knot within has loosened. This is the magic of ritual. It bypasses the thinking mind and speaks directly to the soul. You can adapt this practice using leaves instead of paper, or floating your boat on water if fire isn't accessible. What matters is the intention behind it. Tonight, if you feel called, consider this ritual. You need not wait for a grand moment. Even a small release can create profound shifts. Then, as you lie down to sleep, feel the expansiveness in your heart. You have courageously released what was heavy. You have made room for peace, for dreams, for new beginnings. Rest deeply, brave one. You are lighter than you were before. You are free. Of all the forgiveness we will ever practice, none is as humbling, as tender, or as vital as the forgiveness we offer to ourselves. It is one thing to release the hurt caused by others. It is another entirely to meet our own imperfections, our mistakes, and our regrets with compassion rather than criticism. Self-forgiveness asks us to lay down the armor of self-judgment and embrace the vulnerable truth of our humanity. Why is this so difficult? For many of us, the standards we hold for ourselves are far stricter than those we hold for others. We may readily offer understanding to a friend who stumbles, yet replay our own missteps endlessly in our minds. We fear that self-forgiveness will make us complacent, that, without the whip of self-reproach, we might not strive to be better. In truth, it is only when we release shame that we create space for genuine growth. Self-forgiveness is also challenging, because it requires us to confront parts of ourselves we may prefer to ignore, the moments we acted out of fear, the words we wish we could take back, the choices that led to pain. To forgive ourselves, we must first turn toward these experiences with courage and curiosity, rather than turning away in avoidance. Yet within this difficulty lies profound freedom. When we forgive ourselves, we are not excusing our actions or denying their impact. We are simply acknowledging that we did the best we could with the awareness, resources, and emotional capacity we had at the time. We are choosing to learn from our past rather than be imprisoned by it. This process begins with gentle honesty. We might ask ourselves, what was happening within me when I made that choice? What did I need that I didn't have? How can I care for that need now? These questions are not meant to justify our actions, but to understand them and, in understanding, to release their hold on us. Self-forgiveness is an act of returning home to oneself. It is saying, I see my flaws, and I still belong to myself. I acknowledge my mistakes, and I am still worthy of peace. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, you might place a hand over your heart and whisper, I forgive myself for being human. I release what I no longer need to carry. You don't have to believe it fully yet. Simply offer the words like a gift you are learning to receive. Rest deeply, gentle soul. You are deserving of your own compassion. You always have been. In the quiet spaces of reflection, we often revisit our past choices with the wisdom of the present, and, in doing so, we sometimes forget that we made those choices with the mind, heart, and circumstances we had then, not the ones we have now. To embrace your humanity is to recognize that at every moment you are doing your best, not a perfect best, not a timeless best, but your honest, stumbling, heartfelt best, with what you knew and what you carried. This does not mean that every action was right or every word was kind. It means that within the context of your life, your fears, your wounds, your limitations, you were navigating as courageously as you could. Perhaps you spoke harshly because you felt threatened. Maybe you withdrew because you were overwhelmed. You might have chosen a path that now seems unwise because you believed it was your only option. These are not excuses, they are truths, and truths deserve compassion. When we judge our past selves, we forget that we were learning, growing, and surviving with the tools we had. We forget that making mistakes is how we gained the wisdom we now hold. Every misstep taught you something. Every regret shaped your understanding. You are who you are today, not in spite of those moments, but because of them. To embrace your humanity is to honor your efforts. Even when they fell short, acknowledge your growth without criticizing your beginnings. For yourself the same kindness you would offer a dear friend. This is not always easy. We are often our own toughest critics, but criticism rarely inspires change. It usually fosters shame. Compassion, on the other hand, creates a safe space for honesty and growth. You might try this gentle reframe. Instead of thinking, "I should have known better," try, "Now I know better, and that is a gift." Instead of, "I failed," try, "I learned." These shifts in language are shifts in energy. They move you from judgment to curiosity, from regret to resilience. Tonight, as you lie in bed, you might reflect on one moment you've struggled to forgive yourself for. Imagine your past self as you were then, scared, uncertain, doing their best. Send that version of you love. Thank them for surviving, for trying, for bringing you to where you are now. Then, release the need to keep punishing yourself. You are human, beautifully, imperfectly, wonderfully human, and that is enough. Rest well, dear heart. You deserve your own kindness. You always have. In the wisdom tradition of native Hawaiians, there exists a profound practice of reconciliation and forgiveness called ho'oponopono. At its heart are four simple yet transformative phrases. "I'm sorry," "Please forgive me," "Thank you," "I love you." These words are not merely spoken to others. They are offered to ourselves, to the parts of our being that hold pain, shame, or regret. They are a gentle, repetitive mantra that cleanses the spirit and restores balance, one breath, one phrase, one release at a time. How it works: "I'm sorry." Acknowledge the pain, whether you caused it, carried it, or witnessed it. This is not an admission of blame, but an expression of compassion for the suffering that exists. "Please forgive me." Humbly ask for release from yourself, from the situation, from the weight of the experience. "Thank you." Express gratitude for the lessons, the strength, and the opportunity to heal. "I love you." Offer unconditional love to yourself and the situation, reaffirming connection and wholeness. This practice is deeply personal. You can repeat these words silently in your mind, write them in a journal, or whisper them aloud. There is no right or wrong way, only your way. Why it heals: it shifts the focus from blame to responsibility, the ability to respond with love. It acknowledges that healing is relational even. If the relationship is with yourself, it invites divine or universal grace to assist in the release. You don't need to fully feel the words as you say them. The power is in the intention and the repetition. Over time, these phrases work like water on stone, gently washing away resistance and softening the heart. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, you might try this practice. Place a hand over your heart, breathe deeply, and silently repeat, "I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you." Let the words be a lullaby for your soul, a reminder that you are worthy of forgiveness, gratitude, and love. You are not alone in this healing. You are supported by ancient wisdom, by the love that surrounds you, and by the strength within you. Sleep deeply, beloved. You are forgiven. You are loved. You are free. We often look back on our lives and see a stranger in our past, someone who made choices we wouldn't make today, who carried pain we've since released, who loved in ways we've outgrown. Making peace with that past self is not about erasing who we were, but about embracing them with the compassion and wisdom we've earned through time. Your past self was doing the best they could with what they knew. They were learning, surviving, and growing in the only ways available to them. They may have made mistakes, but those mistakes were part of the journey that brought you here, to this moment of awareness and choice. To make peace with your past self, acknowledge their efforts, thank them for their resilience, their courage, and their willingness to keep going even when it was hard. Offer understanding. See the world through their eyes, the limitations, the fears, the hopes they held. Release judgment. Let go of the need to criticize or shame them for not knowing what you know now. Integrate their lessons. Honor the wisdom gained from their experiences without carrying the weight of their pain. This is an act of deep kindness, one that frees you to live fully in the present, unburdened by yesterday's regrets. You might try writing a letter to your past self, thanking them, forgiving them, offering them the love they may have needed but didn't receive. Or simply bring them to mind before you sleep and send them a silent wish for peace. You are not leaving them behind. You are bringing them home to your heart. Rest now, knowing that every version of you is worthy of love. There is a feeling that comes after release, a subtle, yet profound sense of lightness that touches not only the mind but the body. It is the feeling of a weight lifted, a knot loosened, a breath finally drawn freely. This lightness is not merely the absence of burden. It is the presence of peace, clarity, and spaciousness within. Emotionally, lightness feels like a quiet mind, no longer racing with replays of past hurts, a heart that feels open, capable of holding both joy and sorrow without collapsing under either, a sense of freedom from old stories that once defined you, an increased capacity to be present, to notice beauty, to engage with life as it unfolds physically. Lightness manifests as relaxed muscles, particularly in the shoulders, jaw, and belly, deeper, easier breathing as if the lungs have more room to expand, improved sleep, with fewer awakenings and more restorative rest, a feeling of buoyancy, as if the body itself is less bound by gravity. This lightness is available to you. It is the natural state of your being when it is not compressed by unforgiveness, resentment, or regret. It is not something you need to create, but something you uncover by releasing what has been covering it. You may have felt glimpses of this before in moments of laughter, in nature, in prayer, or meditation. These are reminders that lightness is your birthright. Cultivating lightness is a practice. It begins with small, daily choices, breathing intentionally, pausing throughout the day to take a full, nourishing breath, moving gently, stretching, walking, dancing, anything that reminds the body it can be fluid and free, releasing judgments, noticing when you are criticizing yourself or others, and choosing compassion instead, connecting with joy, seeking out what makes you smile, what makes you feel alive. You deserve to feel light. You deserve to move through the world unburdened. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, notice any places in your body or mind that feel heavy. Breathe into them. Imagine each exhale carrying away a little of that weight. You don't have to force it, simply invite release. You are lighter than you think. You are freer than you feel. Rest deeply. May your dreams be filled with ease and expansiveness. In the gentle moments between wakefulness and sleep, the mind often speaks in symbols that carry deeper meanings than words alone can convey. These symbols are the language of the soul, and in dreams, they offer us visions of freedom, healing, and transformation. When we engage intentionally with symbolic imagery, we open a doorway to profound inner change. After periods of emotional release or forgiveness, it is common to dream of open skies, vast, clear blue expanses representing limitless possibilities and mental clarity, water, flowing rivers, lakes, or gentle rain symbolizing emotional release and renewal, flight, soaring like a bird, or floating weightlessly, embodying freedom from burden. Gardens in bloom, flowers opening, trees bearing fruit, signs of growth and new beginnings, bridges crossing from one landscape to another, reflecting transition and reconciliation. These images are not random. They are reflections of your inner state. They remind you that healing is happening even when you are not consciously aware of it. You can invite these symbols into your waking life as well. Visualization before sleep. Imagine yourself walking through a peaceful garden or floating on a calm lake. Art and journaling. Draw, paint, or write about images of freedom that resonate with you. Nature connection. Spend time in places that evoke feelings of expansiveness, hilltop, a shoreline, a forest. By engaging with symbols of freedom, you reinforce your subconscious commitment to release and renewal. You teach your mind to recognize and embrace lightness. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, allow yourself to dream of open skies and gentle waters. Trust that your mind knows how to heal, how to imagine, how to lead you toward peace. You are free to dream. You are free to release. You are free to become. Sleep deeply, and may your dreams be beautiful. After the storm of unresolved emotion passes, something delicate yet powerful begins to emerge, the return of joy and the steady presence of calm. These are not fleeting sensations but enduring states that blossom naturally when the heart is no longer clouded by the weight of unforgiveness. Joy and calm are not emotions we need to chase. They are the birthright of a soul that has made peace with its past. Joy returns in quiet ways, a sudden smile for no reason, a renewed appreciation for small beauties, the way light filters through a window, the sound of rain, the warmth of a cup of tea, a lightness in step, as if walking on air. Nestle allowing yourself to laugh, create, or daydream without self-consciousness, settles in like a deep, still lake. Mental clarity, tudite racing. Thoughts, emotional stability, feeling anchored amid life's changes. Physical relaxation, shoulders drop. Breath deepens, heartbeat steady, sense of trust in life's flow. Even when the path is unclear, this return does not mean the absence of challenge or sadness. It means that joy and calm become the foundation from which you meet all experiences. They are the soil in which resilience grows. You can nurture their return through simple practices, mindful moments, pause throughout the day to notice something beautiful or soothing. Gratitude. Name 3 things you are thankful for each morning or night. Breath awareness. Let your breath be an anchor to the present moment. Gentle movement, yoga, walking or stretching, to release stored tension and invite ease. You deserve joy. You deserve calm. They have been waiting for you beneath the layers of worry and hurt. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, place a hand on your heart and welcome these qualities back. You might whisper, "I allow joy, I allow calm, I am ready to receive." Then, rest, knowing that you are held by a peace that needs no reason to exist. Sleep deeply, and may your dreams be sweet and your awakening gentle. Forgiveness is not a destination to be reached, but a path to be walked. A gentle, ongoing practice of returning to peace again and again. Like tending a garden, it requires patience, attention, and a willingness to work with the seasons of the heart. Some days, forgiveness will feel natural. Other days, it may feel distant. This is not failure, it's part of the process. Forgiveness as practice means releasing expectations of perfection, allowing yourself to be noticing when old resentments arise and meeting them with curiosity rather than judgment. Compassion over criticism for yourself and others, returning to the intention to forgive. Even when emotions are strong, this practice is not about erasing memory or ignoring pain. It is about changing your relationship to your experiences, holding them more lightly, with more grace. Each time you choose understanding over anger, release over holding on, you strengthen your capacity for peace. Simple ways to weave forgiveness into daily life. Morning intention. Set a gentle resolve to meet the day with an open heart. Evening reflection. Acknowledge moments where forgiveness was easy or difficult, without judgment. Breath as anchor. When hurt arises, breathe into the heart space and silently repeat, "I release what does not serve me." Symbolic gestures. Light a candle, place a stone in water, or write a word on paper and let it go. Rituals that honor release. You are not alone in this practice. You are supported by the wisdom of countless others who have walked this path by the love that flows through all things, seen and unseen. Tonight, as you rest, know that forgiveness is not a burden to achieve, but a gift to receive. You are exactly where you need to be. Sleep deeply, and may your dreams remind you that every breath is a new beginning. To live with an open heart after experiencing hurt is one of the bravest choices a person can make. It does not mean ignoring past pain or abandoning healthy boundaries. Rather, it means learning to trust again both yourself and others with wisdom, discernment, and a deep sense of self-compassion. Trusting again begins within, before extending trust outward. It is essential to rebuild trust in yourself, in your ability to navigate difficult emotions, to set boundaries, and to care for your own well-being. This self-trust becomes a foundation upon which healthier relationships can be built. Key aspects of gentle, wise trust. Discernment. Trust is not all or nothing. It can be offered in degrees, based on consistent actions rather than words alone. Patience. Allow trust to grow slowly, like a seedling reaching for the sun. There is no need to rush. Self-honor. Your feelings and intuitions matter. If something feels unsafe, give yourself permission to pause or step back. Flexibility. Trust may need to be reevaluated and adjusted over time, and that is okay. This process is not about returning to a state of naive innocence, but about moving forward, with eyes and heart open, aware of both vulnerability and strength. Practices for cultivating wise trust. Reflect on past growth. Remember times you've overcome challenges or navigated difficult emotions. Set small boundaries. Practice saying no or not yet in lost situations to rebuild confidence in your discernment. Seek support. Share your journey with those who have earned your trust, therapists, friends, or community members. Mindful engagement. Notice how it feels to be with others, where you feel at ease, where you feel tension, and Let those sensations guide you. You deserve connection. You deserve to feel safe in your relationships. By trusting yourself first, you create the conditions for trust to grow organically with others. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, place a hand over your heart and affirm, I trust myself to navigate my healing. I am open to connection in ways that honor my peace. Rest deeply, knowing that every small step toward trust is a victory. You are not alone. Forgiveness is often seen as a solitary actor, personal release of resentment or pain. Yet its ripple effects extend far beyond the individual, touching every relationship in our lives. When we forgive, we do not only free ourselves, we create the possibility for deeper, more authentic connections with others. How forgiveness transforms relationships, removes barriers. Resentment builds walls between people. Forgiveness begins to dismantle these barriers, allowing space for understanding and empathy to grow. Fosters emotional safety. When we forgive, we communicate that relationships can withstand challenges and misunderstandings. This creates the environment where vulnerability is possible, breaks cycles of hurt. Unforgiven wounds often lead to repeated patterns of conflict. Forgiveness interrupts these cycles, offering a chance for new, healthier dynamics to emerge, encourages mutual growth. In forgiving others, we often inspire them to reflect on their own actions and perhaps extend forgiveness in return to us or to others in their lives. This does not mean that forgiveness always leads to reconciliation. Some relationships may need to change form or end altogether for our well-being, but even in these cases, forgiveness allows us to part with less bitterness and more peace. Practices for bringing forgiveness into relationships. Honest communication. Share your feelings using I statements, focusing on your experience, rather than blaming the other person. Active listening. When others share their perspectives, try to listen with an open heart, rather than preparing your defense. Small gestures, sometimes a kind word or thoughtful action, can begin to mend what words alone cannot. Time and patience. Healing relationships often requires time. Allow space for emotions to settle and understanding to deepen. Remember, forgiveness in relationships is a process, not a single event. There may be setbacks and moments of renewed hurt. What matters is the intention to move toward connection, rather than separation. You deserve relationships grounded in respect, care, and mutual growth. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful tools for creating them. Tonight, as you reflect on your day, consider one relationship, whether with a partner, friend, family member, or colleague, where forgiveness might open new possibilities. You need not take action tonight. Simply hold the intention in your heart. Sleep well, knowing that every step toward forgiveness is a step toward more meaningful connections. One of the most profound gifts of forgiveness is the ability to carry forward the wisdom from our experiences without being weighed down by the wounds. We learn to hold our past not as a burden, but as a teacher, one that has shaped us without defining us. This is the essence of living with an open heart. We honor our journey without being imprisoned by it. What does it mean to carry wisdom without wounds? Learning without lingering. We take the lessons from difficult experiences, what they taught us about our boundaries, our values, our strength, without continually reliving the pain. Integrating without identifying. We acknowledge that our past is part of our story, but it is not our entire identity. We are more than our hurts. Sharing without suffering. We can empathize with others who are struggling without being pulled back into our own unresolved emotions. This balance is not always easy to find. It requires mindful awareness and a commitment to our own healing. But with practice, it becomes natural, a way of moving through the world with both compassion and clarity. Practices for carrying wisdom forward. Reflective journaling. Write down the lessons you've learned from past experiences. Acknowledge how they've helped you grow. Mindful meditation. Use meditation to observe thoughts and memories without becoming entangled in them. Imagine placing them in a container of compassion. Gratitude for growth. Express gratitude for the strength and insight you've gained, even from challenging times. Setting intentions. Consciously decide how you want to apply these lessons moving forward in your relationships, your choices, your self-care. You are not erasing your past. You are transforming your relationship with it. Instead of being a source of pain, it becomes a source of strength. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, reflect on one lesson you are grateful for, one that has made you wiser, kinder, or more resilient. Thank your past self for their courage. and release any lingering attachment to the wound itself. You are whole. You are wise. You are free. Rest deeply, knowing that your heart is capable of holding both joy and sorrow without losing its lightness. As we heal and learn to live with open hearts, we naturally become beacons of hope and understanding for others on their own journeys. This is not about having all the answers or taking responsibility for anyone else's healing. It is about offering the same compassion, presence, and acceptance that we have learned to offer ourselves. Ways to gently support others. Listen deeply. Sometimes the greatest gift we can give is our full attention without judgment, without interruption, without the need to fix anything. Share your story when appropriate. Your experiences with forgiveness and healing can inspire others, but always with humility and respect for their unique path. Offer practical support. This might be a kind word, a helpful gesture, or simply sitting with someone in silence when words are not enough. Respect boundaries. Honor your own limits and those of others. True support never demands or drains. It empowers and uplifts. Remember, you do not need to be perfectly healed to be a guide. Your vulnerabilities and ongoing growth make your presence more relatable and authentic. A gentle reminder, you cannot carry others' burdens for them, but you can walk beside them with a loving heart. Your own light, nurtured through forgiveness, can help illuminate their path just as others have illuminated yours. Tonight, as you reflect on your day, consider the ways you have already been a gentle guide, perhaps without even realizing it. A smile, a moment of patience, a word of encouragement. These small acts ripple outward in ways we may never fully see. Sleep well, knowing that your healing contributes to the healing of the world. You are enough, exactly as you are. As we near the end of this journey together, let us pause and look back with gentle eyes. You have traveled far from the weight of unresolved emotions to the lightness of release, from the shadows of hurt to the dawn of understanding. This has not been a journey of forgetting, but of transforming, not of erasing, but of integrating. Reflect on how far you have come. You learned to identify the burdens you carried: guilt, anger, regret. Acknowledge their presence without judgment. You explored the profound act of forgiveness for others and for yourself, and discovered that it is a gift of freedom you offer your own soul. You welcomed back joy and calm, not as fleeting guests, but as faithful companions. You began to live with an open heart, trusting wisely and extending compassion to yourself and others. This transformation did not happen overnight. It unfolded step by step, breath by breath, choice by choice. There were moments of clarity and moments of challenge, and each one mattered. Each contributed to the peace you now inhabit. Honor your courage. It takes bravery to face pain honestly. It takes strength to choose forgiveness over resentment. It takes wisdom to carry lessons without wounds. You have shown all these qualities. More. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, take a few moments to appreciate your journey. You might place a hand on your heart and whisper, "I honor the path I have walked. I welcome the peace I have found." You are not the same person who began this journey. You are lighter, wiser, and more deeply connected to your own humanity. Rest now, wrapped in the warmth of your own growth. Tomorrow awaits with gentle possibilities. Sleep deeply, peaceful soul. You have arrived in the quiet space between wakefulness and sleep. Our bodies often hold on to the remnants of the day's subtle tensions, unnoticed stiffness, lingering fatigue. This body scan meditation is designed to help you release these physical echoes, inviting your entire being into a state of deep relaxation and readiness for restorative sleep. Find a comfortable position lying on your back, hands resting gently at your sides, palms facing upward. Allow your eyes to close softly. Take 3 deep breaths, inhaling slowly through your nose and exhaling fully through your mouth. With each exhale, feel yourself settling deeper into your bed, supported and safe. Begin at your toes. Bring your awareness to the tips of your toes. Notice any sensations: warmth, coolness, tingling, or perhaps nothing at all. Without judgment, simply observe. Imagine sending your breath down to your toes, filling them with warmth and lightness. As you exhale, release any tension you find. There. Move to your feet. Feel the soles of your feet, the arches, the heels. Notice any areas holding on to the day's weight. Imagine your breath flowing into these spaces, softening and soothing. With each exhale, let go a little more. Travel to your ankles and calves. These muscles have carried you through the day. Thank them for their strength, and now invite them to relax completely. Visualize any tightness melting away like warm honey. Continue upward to your knees, thighs, and hips. These joints and muscles have supported you in sitting, standing, walking. Acknowledge their work, and now grant them permission to rest. Feel them sinking into the mattress, heavy and relaxed. Bring your attention to your lower back and abdomen. This area often holds emotional tension. Breathe into it gently, envisioning a soft, golden light spreading through your core. With each exhale, release worries, fears, or stored stress. Move to your chest and upper back. Feel your heart beating steadily. Place a hand over your heart if it feels comforting. Breathe into this space, allowing any lingering emotional weight to dissolve. You are safe. You are loved. You are at peace. Notice your shoulders, arms, and hands. These parts of you have reached out, held, worked, and embraced. Thank them, and now invite them to surrender fully. Feel any remaining tension draining down, through your fingertips and away. Finally, bring awareness to your neck, jaw, and face. These areas often hold unconscious tension. Soften your jaw, relax your tongue, smooth your brow. Imagine your entire face glowing with calm. Now, envision your body as a whole, peaceful, heavy, deeply relaxed. Scan one more time from head to toe, ensuring every part feels loose and tranquil. Take 3 more deep breaths. With each inhale, draw in peace. With each exhale, release anything still needing to go. You have honored your body tonight. You have given it the gift of attention and release. Now, drift into sleep knowing you are fully supported, fully at ease. May your rest be deep, your dreams be gentle, and your awakening be refreshed. Good night, dear one. You have done well. The heart is more than a physical organ. It is the emotional, an energetic center of your being. Throughout this journey, you have courageously explored forgiveness, release, and healing. Now, as we prepare for gentle closure, we turn our attention to this sacred space within, using the breath to soothe, integrate, and honor all that has been felt and released. Find a comfortable resting position, either lying down or sitting propped up with pillows. Close your eyes and bring your awareness to your natural breath. Notice the rhythm of your inhalation and exhalation without trying to change it. Simply observe. Place one or both hands gently over your heart. Feel the warmth of your hand against your chest. This physical touch is a gesture of kindness and presence, a way of saying to yourself, I am here with you. You are not alone. Begin to deepen your breath slowly. Inhale through your nose, imagining the breath flowing directly into your heart space. Visualize it as a soft, calming light, perhaps golden, lavender, or a color that feels soothing to you. As you exhale through your mouth, envision any remaining tension, sadness, or heaviness, leaving your body as a gentle gray or misty light. With each inhale, draw in compassion, peace, and acceptance. With each exhale, release any final fragments of worry, regret, or resistance. If emotions arise, welcome them. You might feel tenderness, gratitude, or even a quiet sadness for the journey ending. All of this is natural. Breathe into these feelings, allowing them to be present without judgment. Your heart is vast enough to hold them all. Continue this heart-centered breathing for several minutes. With each cycle of breath, feel your heart space becoming lighter, more open, more expansive. Imagine it glowing with a soft, steady light that represents your capacity to love, to heal, and to be at peace. Now, expand your awareness slightly beyond your heart. Feel this radiant light beginning to spread throughout your entire body, down to your toes, up to the crown of your head, out to your fingertips. Your whole being is bathed in this gentle, loving energy. When you feel ready, release the focused breathing and allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm. Keep your hand over your heart a moment longer, acknowledging the courage and tenderness you have shown yourself. Whisper softly, either aloud or in your mind, words of gratitude and closure. Thank you, heart, for your resilience. Thank you, spirit, for your strength. I honor this journey. I welcome this peace. Let yourself rest now, cradled in the warmth of your own compassion. You have traveled far, and you have arrived exactly where you need to be. Sleep deeply, beloved traveler. May your heart remain open, your breath remain easy, and your dreams be filled with gentle grace. Within each of us lies a sacred inner landscape, a garden, where the seeds of our experiences take root and grow. Some plants may be thorny with past hurts, while others bloom with forgiveness and peace. Tonight, we will gently tend this inner garden, nurturing the flowers of forgiveness and compassion, and lovingly releasing any weeds that no longer serve us. Find a comfortable position and close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths, allowing each exhale to settle you more deeply into a state of calm. Imagine yourself standing at the entrance to your own heart's garden. The gate is open, inviting you inward. As you step inside, notice what grows here. There may be flowers representing moments of forgiveness, their petals soft and vibrant, their fragrance gentle and soothing. There may also be areas where weeds of resentment or sadness have taken root. Observe without judgment. This garden is a reflection of your journey, and every plant has its purpose. Begin to walk slowly along the garden path. With each step, feel the earth beneath your feet, solid, supportive, and alive. As you come across flowers of forgiveness, pause to appreciate their beauty. Touch their petals, acknowledging the courage it took to nurture them. If you encounter weeds representing lingering hurts or regrets, approach them with kindness. Rather than pulling them out forcefully, speak to them softly. Thank you for protecting me. I release you now with love. Watch as they gently dissolve into the earth, transformed into nourishment for new growth. Now, find a peaceful spot to sit, perhaps near a quiet pond or under a graceful tree. From this place of stillness, visualize planting new seeds of compassion, understanding, and peace. As you place each seed in the soil, set an intention for the kind of forgiveness and healing you wish to cultivate in your life. Imagine a soft rain beginning to fall, washing the garden clean and quenching the thirst of every living thing. The rain is gentle and nurturing, symbolizing tears of release and the healing power of time. As the rain subsides, sunlight filters through the leaves, warming the garden and encouraging new growth. The flowers of forgiveness seem to glow from within, their colors more vivid, their presence more radiant. Take a few moments simply to be in this garden. Breathe in its peace. Breathe out any remaining tension. Know that this sacred space is always within you, a place of refuge, renewal, and unconditional acceptance. When you are ready, slowly bring your awareness back to your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes, feeling the weight of your body supported by your bed. Carry the tranquility of your inner garden with you into the stillness of the night. You have nurtured your heart tonight. You have tended to your soul with love and intention. However your journey continues, may you always remember this garden within, a place where forgiveness blooms eternal and peace grows wild and free. Sleep deeply, gentle gardener of your own soul. May your dreams be as peaceful as the garden you have cultivated within. As this journey gently winds down, let your mind and heart settle into a place of deep tranquility. You have traveled through landscapes of memory, emotion, and healing. What needed to be faced, releasing what needed to be released, and nurturing what needed to grow. Now, in these final moments together, allow yourself to let go of any remaining thoughts, worries, or reflections. There is nothing more to do, nothing more to understand, only peace to embrace. Listen to the sound of your own breath, flowing in and out like gentle waves upon a shore. With each exhale, imagine releasing any final thoughts, whether they are questions, hopes, or memories, into the quiet night. You do not need to hold on to them anymore. They have served their purpose, and now they can drift away like leaves on a calm stream. Visualize your mind as a vast, starlit sky. Thoughts may appear like passing clouds, some light, some dark, but they are not the sky itself. The sky remains clear, boundless, and undisturbed. You are that sky. You are the stillness behind every thought, the peace beneath every feeling. If any emotions arise, gratitude, tenderness, or even a hint of sadness, breathe into them. Allow them to be present without needing to change or analyze them. They, too, are part of this beautiful human experience. Then, with your next exhale, let them soften and dissolve into the warmth of your heart. You are whole. You are complete. You have done enough, felt enough, and learned enough. Now, it is time to rest. Wrap yourself in the quiet certainty that you are exactly where you are meant to be. However your journey continues, you carry within you the tools of forgiveness, the warmth of self-compassion, and the light of your own resilient spirit. Let your body grow heavy against the bed, fully supported by the earth beneath you. Let your breath become slow and rhythmic, like a lullaby sung just for you. Let your heart remain open, beating gently, in time with the universe. The world outside is quiet now, wrapped in the same peace that fills this room. You are not alone. You are part of something vast, something loving, something eternal. Sleep now, dear one. Release everything into dreams. Tomorrow will wait for you, refreshed and new. Good night. You are loved. You are free. You are peace. As the day softly closes and the world settles into stillness, offer yourself the gift of kind words, gentle affirmations to soothe your soul. Honor your journey and welcome rest. These phrases are not meant to change you, but to remind you of the truth that already lives within your heart, that you are worthy, you are enough, and you are deeply loved. Repeat these words slowly, either aloud or in your mind. Let each one sink into your awareness like a seed planted in fertile soil. There is no need to force belief. Simply allow the words to resonate wherever they feel true. I release today with kindness. I did the best I could. I forgive myself for any mistakes. I am learning and growing. I am worthy of rest. My mind and body deserve peace. I welcome healing as I sleep. My dreams nurture my soul. I am surrounded by love. I am safe. I am held. You may wish to place a hand over your heart as you speak these words, feeling the warmth of your touch as a physical expression of self-care. Imagine each affirmation wrapping you in a soft blanket of compassion, easing any lingering tension or doubt. If other words arise, phrases that feel especially comforting or meaningful to whisper those too. This is your time, your space, your healing. You have traveled a long path to reach this moment of closure. You have faced challenges with courage and tenderness, with openness. Now, let these affirmations be a lullaby for your spirit, a gentle invitation to release, trust, and surrender. There is nothing more to do now, nothing to solve or understand, only to breathe, to rest, and to remember who you truly are, a being of light, learning and loving through every experience. Sleep deeply, beloved soul. May these words accompany you into dreams, and may you awaken renewed, gentle with yourself, and open to the day ahead. You are enough. You always have been. You have carried yourself through this journey with courage and tenderness. Now, it is time to let yourself be held by the night, by the silence, by the universe itself. You do not need to strive, to understand, or to effort anymore. Simply allow. Imagine, as you lie in the darkness, that you are cradled in hands far greater than your own. The same force that guides the stars, that grows the trees, that turns the tides, now holds you. You are not alone. You are part of something vast, something intelligent, something deeply loving. Feel the support beneath you, the bed, the earth, the invisible arms of grace that will never let you go. You are safe. You are cherished. You are exactly where you are meant to be. Breathe out fully, releasing the need to control or resist. Breathe in, receiving the quiet assurance that you are fully supported. With each breath, allow yourself to sink deeper into this cosmic embrace. Whatever remains unresolved, whatever questions linger, place them gently in the care of the universe. Trust that life is unfolding as it should, and that you are being guided even when you cannot see the path. You have done enough. You have been enough. Now, it is time to rest, not as a reward, but as a homecoming. Close your eyes. Let the universe hold you. Sleep, beloved child of the cosmos. You are dreamed into being, and you are dreamed into rest. May your sleep be deep, your heart be light, and your awakening be gentle. Good night. As the stars gather in the velvet sky and the moon casts its gentle glow upon the world, it is time to release the day completely, to surrender into the arms of sleep, cradled by silence and peace. This final block is a spoken lullaby, a weaving of blessings meant to comfort your soul, calm your mind, and carry you into the deepest and most restorative rest. Let these words wash over you like a soft blanket. There is nothing to do, nothing to remember, only to receive. A blessing for your body. May every muscle, every bone, every cell of your body relax into the profound peace it deserves. However you moved today, in joy, in struggle, in stillness, it now be still. May your breath flow without effort, your heartbeat steady into a rhythm as old as time itself. You have carried yourself through this day, and now may you be carried. Rest, dear body. You are home. A blessing for your mind. May the thoughts that have danced through your mind today now settle like dust in a sunbeam. Whatever was unresolved, whatever was worried over, whatever was planned or regretted, may it all be gently released into the care of the night. You do not need to figure anything out now. Trust that clarity will come with the dawn. For now, simply be. Rest, dear mind. You are enough. A blessing for your heart. However your heart has felt today, full, fragile, joyful, weary, may it now be held in compassion. Every emotion you experienced was valid. Every reaction was human. You loved, you hoped, you maybe even hurt, but through it all, you remained open. That is courage. That is beauty. Now, may your heart rest easy, knowing it is never alone. Rest, dear heart. You are loved. A blessing for your spirit. You are more than your body, more than your thoughts, more than your feelings. You are a spark of eternal light, here to experience, to learn, to grow. However today unfolded, it was part of your soul's journey. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was without meaning. Now, may you return to the truth of who you are, whole, divine, and deeply connected to all that is. Rest, dear spirit. You are one with everything. A blessing for your dreams as you drift into sleep. May your dreams be gentle landscapes where healing unfolds effortlessly. May you meet there whatever you need, comfort, inspiration, resolution, or simply beautiful silence. May you awaken with a sense of renewal, as if the night itself has nourished you from the inside out. A blessing for your awakening, and when the new day comes, may it greet you softly. May you rise with a heart open to possibility, a mind clear and curious, and a spirit refreshed and ready. But that is for then. For now, there is only rest. Final words. You have journeyed deeply tonight. You have faced, felt, and released much. Honor yourself for your courage and your kindness. There is nothing more to do now. Let your breath slow. Let your body soften. Let your body soften. Let your awareness expand into the limitless peace that surrounds you. The world is quiet. You are safe. You are loved. Sleep now, dear one. Let go completely. May your rest be deep, your dreams be sweet, and your awakening be gentle. Good night.